Hello and welcome to the news at 10, live on NTA News 24. I'm Comfort. I'm Madu. Let's take a look at some of the trending stories. World leaders to strengthen cooperation for effectiveness in fight against terrorism.
All nations believe that if one country is sick because of terrorism, in no time it will affect the other countries. So the countries around the world believe that together they have to work and fight terrorism.
House of Representatives dig deeper into abandonment of modular refinery projects after huge investments. For safe and nutritious food, federal government finalizes national guidelines for public food procurement and services. The countries of the world at the Kaaba process meeting have agreed to strengthen cooperation for greater effectiveness in the fight against terrorism in parts of the world. This was at the recently concluded meeting of the heads of state and government in Rome, Italy's capital, where our State House correspondent Musbat Wahab reports from.
President Bola Tinubu set out for the Aqaba process meeting of heads of state and governments, an initiative of King Abdullah II of Jordan on countering terrorism. This year, a crucial matter concerning West Africa was on the table for leaders of the world to dissect, or perhaps to lend support, and the attention of Nigeria, constituting about 1/3 of the sub-region, was highly needed at the high-level meeting. The rising territory of terrorism in West Africa, including how terrorist groups are using the internet and social media to spread their message and recruit new members, were of major concern here. The closed meeting also discussed how to stop the flow of money and weapons to the groups.
The major takeaway is the fact that there is a multinational cooperation in fighting against terrorism. All nations believe that if one country is sick because of terrorism, in no time it will affect the other country. So the countries around the world believe that together we have to work and fight terrorism. So it's a very good, robust meeting that discuss especially the terrorism in West Africa, and the countries resolve really to work together and provide both policy and solutions for multinational terrorism fight. And I believe it is very, very good for our country being the leader in West Africa and Sahel.
The Nigerian Defense Minister, Mohammed Badaru Abubakar, also assessed the effectiveness of the meeting in the last 10 years of the initiative.
This meeting really cut down bureaucracy, and leaders meet freely and openly and have very frank and open discussions on ways and means to fight terrorism in the world. And the focus now is West Africa, and I believe Nigeria stands to gain a lot from the cooperations that this meeting brings about.
On the sidelines of a high-level meeting, President Bola Tinubu also met separately with the Prime Minister of Italy, Giorgia Meloni, and King Abdullah II of Jordan on bilateral matters. In Rome, Musbah Wahab, NTA News.
And here in Nigeria, the Senate is making a push to tackle the high rate of sickle cell disorder in the country as it seeks the establishment of sickle cell disorder research and therapy centers in the 6 geopolitical zones. And the aim is to propose legislation sponsored by Senator Sunday Katum to improve data collection and assistance for patients. Details with National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali.
Nigeria is identified as the epicenter of sickle cell disorder, as half of the annual 300,000 newborns with sickle cell are in Nigeria.
Provide facilities for diagnosis, curative, rehabilitative services for sickle cell disorder.
People become sickle cell patients because of maybe ignorance of their parents.
Avoidance is also supposed to be part of the reason. But I say no, you cannot legislate on love.
There should be mass sensitization and information given out by the relevant authorities to Nigerians.
Setting up centers that will cater for the cure of the disease is something that is very germane.
We'll try to find succor for those who are suffering for this unfortunate ailment.
The bill passed second reading and referred to the Senate Committee on Health. Senate also passed at second reading bill to regulate factoring services sponsored by Senator Asuquo Ekpenyong.
It provides for the licensing and supervision of finance companies engaged in factoring, ensures that costs and fees are disclosed in plain language, and makes invoice transfers legally enforceable to avoid disputes.
If we do not regulate how invoices are dumped by different organizations, then it means whether we factorize, the value for which we want to achieve will be misdirected.
Senate has urged the federal government to fast-track completion of Aingba Dekina Shintaku Road in Kogi East in view of its importance to livelihood of communities, as canvassed by Senator Issa Jibrin.
In the 1980s, when the Aingba Dekina Shintaku Road was motorable, commuters used to spend an average of 40 minutes on the road, but now spends over 4 hours due to the deplorable condition of the road.
This motion is timely, especially against the background of the fact that Mr. President will soon present the 2026 budget.
In another resolution, Senate is set to investigate safety issues at airports across Nigeria, sequel to a motion from Senator Buhari Abdul Fatai.
Aviation safety is vital to national security, economic growth, international reputation, as Nigeria aspires to remain the hub of air transport in Africa.
Wednesday's plenary featured the confirmation of appointees for the Nigerian Law Reform Commission and Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Agency. The lawmakers paid tribute at plenary to late Senator Mohammed Mana and late Solomon Arase as they observed a minute's silence in their honor. Senate has set Thursday, October 16th, for the screening of Professor Joash Amopiton for confirmation as the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
And we're still going to be staying with Lami Ali to get details of the screening of the newly nominated chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Joash Ojo Amopiton, today at the Senate Chamber National Assembly Complex, and the Director of Information Office of the Secretary, Research and Information Department of National Assembly, Bola Audu Bila, confirmed the exercise. President Tinubu last week transmitted the nomination of Amopiton to the Senate for confirmation as the new INEC chairman following the expiration of the tenure of his predecessor. Now, we're going to be asking Lami Ali, who is currently at the Senate there, to tell us what the atmosphere is like, Lami.
Thank you, Comfort. Well, the sitting is yet to commence. As you mentioned, the president appointed Professor Amopiton last week, and the transmission of the letter to the Senate was done during the week. It was read at plenary by President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, on Tuesday, during which the communication was referred to the Committee of the Whole, which is what we are going to witness today. Now, the procedure is when sitting commences at about 11 a.m. this morning, the Senate leader, Senator Okoyemi Bamidele, is going to move a motion to invite the appointee into the chamber. He's going to be accompanied by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters, Senator Bashir Lado, into the chamber, and likely some management staff of the Independent National Electoral Commission. At that point, senators are going to, first of all, is going to present his profile and his plans for the Nigeria's election umpire. After that, he's going to take some questions from the lawmakers, and when they are satisfied that he is qualified to take on the position of the head of Nigeria's election empire, he will later be confirmed. But from feelers that we are getting, is going to be a smooth sail, because so far his assessment across party divides is that he has a very he has an unblemished record. His performance at the academia and as a senior advocate of Nigeria comes very, very high. And so we're expecting that it's not going to be a very difficult experience when the time comes for him to be screened by members of the Nigerian Senate.
I was going to ask you what you think the senators would be expecting from him. I know you've reeled out some of his records, but we still want to hear. And what's the body language? Do we have more persons supporting him there? What's the word out there at the Senate?
He enjoys a lot of support, as I told you, from the feelers that we are getting. Based on his record, the assessment is quite high across party divides. That is, all members of the majority, let me say, of members of the Senate regard him as someone that has credibility. He's a man of integrity, and they're expecting that he's going to bring reforms into the electoral system in Nigeria. Remember, his immediate predecessor introduced the beavers, and Professor Atahiri Jiga before him introduced the permanent voters card. And at this time that Professor Amopitan was appointed, the National Assembly is as the process of amending the Electoral Act. There are some introductions that are being made, part of which are enabling prisoners to vote, and also those on essential services. This is going to take place before the day of the election. And there is also a proposal that the elections, the next general elections, be held in November as against February or March of the handover or the completion of tenure of the incumbents. And then there's also a proposal that all election matters should be concluded before swearing in. So there is a high expectation, not just among the lawmakers, but out there amongst Nigerians. They're expecting to see that Professor Amopitan is going to bring profound changes to Nigeria's electoral system for credibility, transparency, and accountability.
All right, thank you so much, Lami Ali. I agree with you that the expectations are quite high. I will come back to you to get details of the screening at the Senate there. Thank you so much. Security agencies play crucial roles in safeguarding Nigerians' democracy by ensuring peace, order, and credibility during elections. And to strengthen this role, the Pioneering Advocacy and Advancement Center in Africa is building the capacity of security personnel to deeper knowledge of the nation's electoral laws, reforms, and processes. Joseph Otsen reports on how this initiative is enhancing professionalism and accountability ahead of future elections.
Beyond their presence at polling units and collation centers, security personnel play a vital role during elections, patrolling villages, towns, and cities to ensure a peaceful process. However, many of them have limited knowledge of electoral offenses and in some cases fail to act when such offenses occur, leaving voters vulnerable and the process compromised.
Many people don't know that vote buying is an offense, including security agents. To compartmentalize electoral crimes to a point that we wait until there's an offenses commission is something that we are trying to mitigate. To call out to say that crimes committed during elections needs to be, taken very seriously.
Here, personnel of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps are undergoing training on the need to equip themselves with adequate knowledge of Nigeria's electoral reforms. Apart from carrying arms and ammunition, they are being reminded that they need sound understanding of the Electoral Act and the guidelines and the Nigerian Constitution.
Already we're having complaints about low turnout, and so when people do not believe that the environment is safe for them, naturally it's going to affect the outcome, and that again would also negatively.
Electoral laws. If you don't know it, you cannot be able to perform better.
PACA will be extending the same training to all security formations at convenient intervals. The goal is to prepare them as major gatekeepers in safeguarding democracy during elections. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
The House of Representatives has resolved to get to the bottom of the abandoned modular refinery project in Bras, Bayelsa State, after a whopping $35 million was reportedly invested in the project. And lawmakers insist that public funds deployed for the refinery, which is under the purview of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, must be accounted for. National Assembly correspondent Mitairi Ipen reports on this development and other conversations.
A matter of urgent national importance raised by Representative Billy Osawaru revealed the circumstances surrounding the moribund state of the modular refinery project in Bayelsa State.
Sometime in 2020, the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, otherwise known as NCDMB, invested the sum of $35 million in Atlantic International Refinery and Petrochemical Limited, a modular refinery to be located in Bras. Despite this huge investment, which is more than 50 billion naira today, and enough to fund fundamental components of the national budget, the proposed modular refinery was never set up.
It appears today that we're a nation that will not only eat our profit, but will also eat her investment.
The House mandated its committees on petroleum resources, midstream and downstream to investigate what went wrong with the proposed modular refinery project. Meanwhile, the House is set to probe alleged local content violations by oil and gas companies in Imo State to the detriment of host communities.
Failure to establish functional operational offices within the areas of operation in Imo State, as mandated by Section 3J of the Act 2010, thereby denying the state by valuable economic activity and employment. To urge the oil and gas companies operating in Imo State to urgently comply with provisions of Nigerian oil and gas industry.
At a public hearing, lawmakers and aviation experts endorsed a proposed legislation seeking to establish the African Aviation and Aerospace University in Abuja.
We must ensure that the institution is not only a center of excellence, but also a model of integrity.
This momentous occasion underscores the federal government's commitment to developing our aviation sector,
support Nigeria's vision to become Africa's leading aviation training and innovation hub.
They are optimistic that the proposed aviation university will address shortage of manpower in the sector. From the National Assembly, Mitairi Ikben, NTA News.
Thank you for that report. We have more stories ahead right after this break.
National Productivity Order of Merit Award goes to the only tomato paste manufacturer to win the National Productivity Order of Merit Award by the federal government of Nigeria, endorsed by the Association of Private Medical Practitioners of Nigeria. This is an evidence of 100% natural goodness. Eat healthy to live longer. Buy now and enjoy up to 20% discount. Tomato paste, the taste of Nigeria.
Feel the power of precision, engineered to perfection. Every component is crafted with care, and each design is meticulously tested. From concept to creation, our engineers push the boundaries of technology, seamlessly blend in performance and sustainability with a deep commitment to African ingenuity. Introducing the CNG Boss, a remarkable achievement in engineering designed to operate on compressed natural gas, a cleaner and more sustainable fuel alternative. At Innocent Vehicles, we proudly lead the way in creating greener mobility across Africa. And it doesn't stop there. From SUVs to sedans, spacious buses to electric cars, Innocent offers a wide range of models designed to meet every need. Innocent Vehicle, the pride of African road.
In furtherance of federal government's commitment to improving public health and nutrition, national guidelines for public food procurement and services has been finalized. And the policy is expected to promote access to safe, healthy, and locally sourced food in public institutions, including schools, hospitals, and correctional centers. Dennis Temple reports.
The role of policies as the benchmark, that is setting the framework, is important for us to be able to execute any interventions.
The food served in Nigeria's public institutions, from schools to hospitals and custodial centers, is about to undergo a transformation. That is why this gathering is here today to finalize the guidelines for public food procurement. Led by the Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning and supported by relevant stakeholders, the guidelines aim to ensure that food in public settings is nutritious, safe, and sourced from local producers.
If we have a guidance document that will help to guide the procurement of public food service, this will help so that those that we procure the food for can eat healthier food.
This is a policy guideline program that will be able to, as it has pulled out stakeholders, it will be able to see the light of day.
Stakeholders say it is a timely intervention, especially with rising food insecurity and malnutrition rates across the country.
We've done a lot of research, working with other partners to extract the information that has shaped or framed what this policy looks like. The next couple of days will also require validation, so we'll look at key elements of this policy and inputs from different stakeholders who are experts in the room.
If it's not, I'm not easily available for programs, activity, because I have so many things, but because of the importance we are attached to this particular program, that is why I'm here.
The national guidelines, they say, mark a bold step towards food system reform in Nigeria, and with the inauguration of the technical working group, it is expected that the policy would not only improve public health, but also boost local agriculture and drive sustainable development. In Abuja, Dennis Temple, NTN News.
The management and staff of the National Hospital Abuja gathered to honor the acting director of finance, Bala Lawal Garba, as he bowed out of service in a colorful and emotional ceremony after 35 years of distinguished service. As Olushe Adiagbo reports that the event was a heartfelt blend of celebration and tribute, reflecting Garba's legacy of selfless dedication, widely regarded as a mentor and seasoned finance professional. His departure leaves a gap that colleagues say will be very difficult to fill.
The farewell began during a top management meeting where colleagues described Bala Garba as a man of empathy, integrity, and rare emotional intelligence. Bala and Danjuma Mahfouz Hassan were both celebrated as a mentor and professional whose names have become synonymous with discipline, dedication. The mood turned jubilant as the event transitioned into a festive celebration with the Federal Road Safety Corps band setting the tone. Almost all hospital staff turned out to witness the send-off of a man they deeply respected.
He is an emolument of every good thing and every character that any good person would wish to have.
He's somebody that does not care about things of the world. He comes across anybody and takes charge of, takes the affairs very lightly.
Surrounded by family members, including his mother, Bala Garba expressed heartfelt gratitude for the unwavering support and cooperation he received throughout his career. As he takes his bow from active service, he pledged to continue supporting the hospital's mission even in retirement.
It's not as rosy as you think. The hospital needs help. The help can come from every quarter. At times when you go to the hospital ward, you see patients sleeping on bare mattresses. So in my own way, I said, okay, why don't we make some bed sheets, to give patients to lie on? And I think that was what motivated me to make a couple of bed sheets from my own personal savings.
And for me, it is pointer to simply the grace of God. Family na Bala Garba, Mungode.
As Bala Lawal Garba officially bows out, his presence, many say, will be sorely missed at the National Hospital. In Abuja, Olusheye Ediagbo, NTA News.
That's the news at this time. I'm Comfort Amadu. Many thanks for watching.